All right, so here's a thing I want to talk about. Your problem never was drinking alcohol or using a drug or engaging in a behavior. Those things were never the problem. The actual substance or behavior was not the problem. It's never been the problem. It's not the problem now. It will never be the problem. The problem is that you persist in a behavior that is harmful to you. That's the problem. Now, if you, because you're all that matters inside of you. That's the first and most important thing. And so the only reason that the drinking or the drug or the behavior matters or is the problem, the only way that's the problem is from an external perspective. Because what matters to you, the problem to you, is that you're persisting in a self-harming behavior. That's the problem. But from the outside, if that self-harming behavior is eating sugar, the outside world doesn't care so much. If it's drinking alcohol, it cares a little bit, but as long as you keep it in your own home, it's okay. But if you take it out and you start drinking on the streets or driving, then they care a lot. Then it's a problem. Or with heroin or cocaine, the external world doesn't care that you're doing it. They care that it's illegal. And so if you're doing it, then it's illegal and they care about that. So it's not a problem. I guess I keep saying I'm going back and forth between care and problem. It's not a problem to the external world unless it's illegal, unless it's harming somebody else, blah blah blah. But and so they will gauge, I guess society will gauge the severity of harm done, and then gauge the response to how big of a problem it is, or if it's a problem or not. And what I'm saying is that doesn't matter what you do. Like I've talked about before, the drug doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're engaging in. The issue is that you're persisting in it when it's causing you harm. And so then we want to say, oh, why are you persisting in it when it's causing you harm? And again, like is a common thing that comes up here, because you're already hurting, and this is giving you at least a short-term benefit that overpowers the pain you're experiencing, and either overpowers the long-term consequence or is blocking you from being aware of the long-term consequence, or you're simply not aware of the long-term consequence, or it's so far down the road that by the time it comes in, you've forgotten that it's attached to that short-term benefit, and so they're not even connected in your mind. So this is relevant because if the problem isn't the drug or behavior, but all the attention is going to the drug or behavior, then you're not going to get to the actual solution. So if you've got a bridge and the middle of it falls out, then it's no longer good as a bridge. And so the problem is, I'm trying to figure this out as I go along. The problem is that you can't get across the bridge. That's the purpose of the bridge. It doesn't matter what part of the bridge is broken. It doesn't matter if the bear with me because it does matter, but not right now. If like the surface that you walk across or drive across is, if that's deteriorated, or the underneath supports are deteriorated, maybe the floor is there but the supports are gone, maybe the supports are there but the floor is gone, so that kind of stuff matters. But at the start, it doesn't matter that which part of the bridge is missing. It matters that the bridge is missing a part. So it doesn't matter how you're harming yourself, it matters that you're harming yourself. That's the problem. The problem is that the bridge is not passable. The problem is that you are harming yourself. And so I feel like when we get lost in the details at the start, then we prolong the problem. If we try to figure out how to fit, or no, that's not good. But I don't know. I think that's the point. I don't know if I have to go any deeper on that. I think that is drilled down deep enough. If we get lost on alcohol, drinking is the problem, then we're missing out that drinking is not the problem. The problem is existing in here and here, where you are not. My back itches, so it doesn't exist back here. I'm not pointing to another place. I probably blocked the microphone completely. You can't hear me. I wasn't pointing to a place where it exists. It exists here and here, not back here. That's just where my shoulder itched. But so the problem exists inside of you, and it's not a problem so much as something to become aware of, that you may, it's in your decision if it's a problem or not. And so if it's a decision from your perspective, If it's a problem from your perspective, then it's something to address. And so if it's something to address, I'm suggesting that it's not the behavior, it's not your drinking, it's your persistence in harming yourself or in allowing harm to come to yourself. And so we want to figure out why that is. What is going on in mind and heart, your thinking and your feeling, that is not stopping you from doing the thing that's harmful? Is it strictly routine, or is it meeting a need that's more pressing, that that you're the cost benefit analysis? It's like you don't want to pay for this service. Like I need to get something fixed in my oven. It's not heating up, but it won't get to the temperature, and then it keeps heating up past it. So something with some kind of sensor or something is shot. I need to get that fixed. I don't want to pay for it to be fixed. I expect it's going to be more expensive than a $10 part that they're going to charge up and then charge me a whole bunch of labor. But it's something I don't feel comfortable doing, so I need to pay for that to be done. So it's cost benefit analysis. Do I continue to run my kitchen at my home? Not like it's a kitchen I'm running, but do I continue to make food every day without the use of my oven? Or do I pay the cost to get it fixed? So cost benefit analysis. Is it worth it to have the functionality of the oven back to pay that cost up front? And so we do the same thing when we're talking about addictions to an extent before it becomes put on autopilot, and it's just part of our script or conditioning. But at some point earlier on in it, maybe, or maybe even still now, you weigh it out. If I drink right now, or if I get high right now, it's going to temporarily relieve these symptoms of pain, but then tomorrow I'm going to have to deal with it through a hangover, or the symptoms will all come back to me. I'll be more miserable, and then I'll feel guilty for having done that, or whatever. But you sit there and you wait, and you say, well, right now I feel really miserable, so tomorrow I'm going to feel miserable. We'll have to deal with that when I get to it tomorrow. So for right now, I'm going to get high, I'm going to drink. And so that's cost benefit. And then that gets into the pattern of conditioning and becoming the routine, becoming the autopilot, becoming the script, and that becomes more comfortable than not doing it. And so I don't know where I was started out with that, lost it. But the point being that's not the problem. The problem is the disconnect. And so I guess I'll try and offer a solution to this. The solution would be that if there's a disconnect between you and you, there's two elements to you, from my perspective, this is my opinion, but there's the physical, the spiritual, the self, the actual self, and then the perceived self. So I guess I would align the physical self, the manifestation of self, with the perceived self, and then the true self is the eternal spirit. If however that is, if that is or not, I don't know, but that's my belief set. That's how I approach this. But so if my perceived self, my concept of myself, well, I guess, so we don't have to get into the spiritual part of it so much as I guess it all comes down to what we believe about ourselves. But if you believe that in nature that there is some element of you that is true, and then through society and culture and life, it's expressed in this, like Billy Joel talks about the stranger. We all have that face that we put away forever, or we hide away forever, take it out, and show ourselves when everyone is gone. So he's talking about this duality. There's two natures to us. If we align with our true self, with this persona that we put up, if we can align those two things, then it's my theory that we can eliminate a lot of these self-harming behaviors, because part of that is happening because we're out of alignment. And so then we seek things to relieve that pain caused by being out of alignment, and sometimes we pick things that are not conducive to our overall well-being, or that's what we happen upon, that's what we find works temporarily. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that put less focus on the substance or behavior that's being used, more focus on the persistence in the harmful activity, and then look to self-alignment as the solution to that persistent self-harm. So what is self-alignment? Only you know. And that's where mindfulness comes in. Increasing your awareness and doing things with intentionality. As you increase your mindfulness, in the moment, whatever you're doing, you experience, if you can be still and listen and really feel your body, not just do it because it's the next thing to do, but do it because you're experiencing it, you're feeling it, you're thinking about it, and you're doing it for a purpose. If you can do that, then that's how you start to get to know yourself, because you might find yourself in a moment that you have just automatically plowed through every day, questioning it and going, well, why am I saying that? I've had this experience this week, and so I'm wondering if, well, I'm not going to get into that, but a couple times so far this week, one conversation, somebody was telling me about a child who was sick, and mentioned, someone was talking about their brother or something like that, and then when he mentioned the kid's age, it was a young kid, and I thought, oh, that's terrible, and I had this reaction like that it became worse because this kid was so young. It became worse, and then I caught myself and I thought, well, it's not worse because he's young. It's sad because he's experiencing it. But if it was 8 years old or 80 years old, it doesn't matter. It's still a human being that's experiencing this. And so I thought about why are we so much more concerned about children? And there's a lot of, it's culture and society. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that, but that's not what I'm getting at. But the point is that I had this thought, I had this reaction to what I heard, but then I caught it and I thought, well, no, I don't actually feel that way. And then the same thing happened with something else. Someone mentioned something that I just automatically said congratulations to. And then I thought, well, if the news had been slightly different, I would have said congratulations in that case also. So I guess good job. But it was just like, it wasn't so much about what I was responding to, but for me personally, it was, I felt like I had this automatic response. But when I thought about it, I thought, well, that's not really it. I mean, it was socially appropriate, but it wasn't what I was feeling. Like, I didn't feel that response, but I said it. And then there was another one that happened today, but I don't remember what it was. With these things where I'll say it, but then I'll think, well, I don't really feel that way. And so to me, this is an indicator that I'm becoming more mindful, and I'm aware of what I'm saying. Like, my autopilot is on, but I'm waking up in the cabin with it, and I'm like, oh, you're flying this thing. Well, you don't need to fly because I'm paying attention. But so it's just interesting. That's all. That's an observation of interest. But I think that's a way that we can. That's me trying to reconnect with myself, and so I do it through occasional meditation, not as often as I tell people they should, or as I think I should, if shoulds exist. But I think I could meditate more frequently and getting benefit from it. But recently, this week, I've been using Qigong. It's an exercise like Tai Chi, somewhat like that, and I've been doing that to increase my energy flow in my body, to get my Qi flowing, and I've been doing that every day, and that definitely has a benefit to me. Reading and listening to lectures or talks by philosophers and people whose insights I find helpful, listening to the Tao Te Ching, and studying the things that I feel help to connect me with my true self, is a way that I connect with my true self. Another thing that I'm working on a lot right now is nutrition. So I've got some whatever going on with my anxiety issues in the last week or so. I'm trying to improve my personal nutrition to hopefully improve all of those things, reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, and that kind of stuff, which I think nutrition is key, because that's at the root of all of this stuff. If we're not putting in the right building blocks for our bodies, our machines to operate properly, we can't expect proper function. And so I think that connecting our perceived self to our true self can be benefited through improving our perceived self through actual physical health. So that's one of the things. So these are some of the ways that I'm doing it. I don't know what's relevant or beneficial to you, but it all starts with thoughts, right? And so the first thing I would recommend is that your problem is not drinking alcohol. Your problem is not snorting cocaine. Your problem is not injecting heroin. Your problem is persistent self-harm. The drug doesn't matter in this context. To the world, it matters. To the legal system, it matters. To your doctor, it matters. But to us right now here, talking about this addiction behavior, overcoming that, gaining more control over yourself, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're persisting in self-harm. For one, and my theory could be that it's because of a self-disconnect. And so if we can repair that connection with yourself, then the self-harm reduces, minimizes, goes away. And then whatever the legal or medical implications of your drug of choice are no longer matter because the behavior is gone. So it's not an easy thing. It doesn't happen right away, and it's kind of, I don't know if they call it parabolic, but like it's a slow start, exponential growth or something like that, and then all of a sudden it goes like this. So you make the progress a little bit for a long time, and then all of a sudden you make a lot of progress in a short period of time. So that's what I think about that. And I will talk at you again in the near future, probably. Thanks for watching. Good day to you.